Welcome to Managing the Classroom for your in-person class delivery, brought to you by Microsoft Learning, and I'm Leanne McManus. We're going to take a quick preview of what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to start with the topic of setting the pace. This is going to vary for every class and every particular audience. We're also going to discuss different challenges that might arise in any given class you have. Let's start with the critical topic of setting the pace. One trick I've used over the years is to quantify the current pace with the Goldilocks question. I'll ask the class, how do you feel like the pace is happening now? Is it going too slow? Is it going way too fast? Or is it just right? I often check throughout the session or at the beginning of a break, whenever we come back together. You definitely want to allow them the opportunity to tell you if they need you to slow down or if you need to speed up a bit. If the consensus is good, then stay the course. Ultimately, you need to do what's best for the majority. If the majority gives you a slow down or a speed up response, then you need to be comfortable punting or making the appropriate adjustment. It's really about the transfer of knowledge, not about getting through all the content. Now, there are also various challenges that can arise in any given class. The one thing that we're going to focus on is remembering that all students are unique, but now we're going to take a deeper dive into 3 of the major differences that you're likely going to encounter in a class. Some of the major differences, the first being every student's going to come in with differing experience, expertise, and skill level. They're all going to learn at different rates and different speeds as well. Some require more repetition, some require less. And then the big difference in the learning style. This one is on you. It's imperative that you make sure you provide what feedback they need for their different learning styles. Most students are one, if not a combination of all 3 of these most commonly known learning styles. The first being visual, second being auditory, third being kinesthetic. When we describe visual learners, we're talking about those that are watching you demonstrate. They're watching what you draw on the board. They're reading from their book. Auditory learners are more focused on the hearing. So they're hearing your conversations, they're hearing your analogies and your stories. They may even learn from conversations and question and answer that happens in class. The kinesthetic is really usually a combination of the previous 2, but it's got an emphasis on the doing or the hands-on. So this can be done with different exercises, labs, or maybe the creation of whatever you're building in your class. Kinesthetic is also known as tactile. You may hear that reference. It's imperative that you work in variations, so of all of these throughout your class, so you can account for all the different learning styles. We're going to specifically refer to different types of students. You may deal with different types of overengaged students. Some are great. They're just extroverts. They love to share. They want to be part of what's happening. You'll have to watch the time with these. Some are more focused on being first or maybe being right and can even focus on challenging you, the instructor. Be careful with these types of students. They can easily derail your session. I try to leverage these students as champions or experts whenever possible, but make sure you hand off that responsibility with a time-boxed reference. Such as this example. Kevin, can you describe for everyone in 2 minutes or less this topic? Other students may just love to be in the learning and truly be engaged, and you usually want this. You're just going to have to manage the time with these as well. And you might have students who are speaking up because no one else is answering or because they're uncomfortable with silence. Now, on the other end of the spectrum are the underengaged students. Believe it or not, these can be equally draining, if not more so, to the class. So some students just don't want to be here. Maybe their boss sent them, maybe they don't believe that they need the class. These are a difficult student in your class. Some are overwhelmed by the class in general. It's really your responsibility to re-engage them. Other students may be in the wrong class. That might not be the right fit for them. So I've, from time to time, have had to have a one-on-one conversation with the student to make the right decision at that given time. And then some people are simply introverted, and they can come across as being disengaged when they're actually fully engaged. And then occasionally you're going to have those students who are disruptive, might be adding chaos to the class. I use differing methods to manage these types of students. Some I might just call on to reinforce the positive engagement back in the class. Some I may stand by and just utilize my body language. And some, occasionally, I'll need to have a one-on-one conversation as a last resort. Thank you for your time in watching this video. I hope this highlights some of the things that might impact your class, how you might manage challenges and different audience pace concerns.